the way. Welcome to TechSoup, everybody. My name is Aretha Simons. I'm going to show you how you can engage on the next slide. Joanne, I love that you put that. Your organize your drive, moving from Google Docs to 365. I love it. I purchased that myself. So thank you for saying that in the chat. This is going to be recorded, so you're going to get the slides and the recording later today so you can share it with everybody on your team and say, hey, look, we've got to upgrade, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. If you need the closed caption, Zoom has done something really neat. They let you tap on it and you can see it in Spanish, French, Creole. There's all different languages. So I love that they upgraded. I'm going to move out of the way and turn this over to Nick Finn. He's going to lead us into the next part of the Welcome to TechSoup. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you on the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Aretha, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Welcome to TechSoup new member orientation webinar. Thanks for spending some time with us today. And before we even get started, I do want to say, thank you for making the decision to be part of the nonprofit movement and to work to build a better country, a better community, a better environment, to do the things that your nonprofit is doing. These are mission-driven organizations. We have a perspective. We want to make the world a better place. And it's not always the easiest work to choose. So I want to thank each and every one of you who made that choice and is deciding to work in the nonprofit sector. My name is Nick Finn. I'm the head of marketing here at TechSoup, and that means I lead a lot of webinars and I work on emails and web pages and things like that, keeping nonprofits abreast of the latest and greatest developments in technology and offers that are available to you. Um, you've already met my wonderful compatriot, Aretha Simons. We're also joined today by my colleague, Gerard Morris, and then Amari Magaha, who are going to share some more later on in this webinar around some different elements of TechSoup that can be helpful for you. But let's get going with the first big question people tend to ask: what is TechSoup? Maybe some of you on this call have used us for some time, but a lot of you are brand new to TechSoup or have just joined and become members. So let's hit on some key points here. The first thing is TechSoup is, like you, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we work with more than 400,000 nonprofit members. We support other nonprofits who are working with technology to build an equitable planet. Right there goes to the core of our mission, right? TechSoup as a nonprofit doesn't exist to boost shareholders or to create a profit margin. What we are here to do is help other nonprofits use technology. And we do have a perspective. We think technology can be incredibly powerful in the right hands. And nonprofits can do a lot of good with technology, and technology can help nonprofits themselves evolve and do better internally as well. One of the ways that we help nonprofits with technology is we host what I would say is the world's best known catalog of tech product offers just for nonprofits. This includes major brands like Microsoft, Dell, Intuit, Adobe, and many, many more. And we'll talk about more of those brands in a little bit. In addition to that catalog of branded tech products, we also offer add-on technology services for nonprofits who might be struggling to manage their tech stack. Because let's all admit it, buying a piece of technology is really the start of a meandering path sometimes where you have to optimize that tech, troubleshoot it, train your staff how to use it properly, make sure you're choosing the right licenses. And all of that is a complex process. So it's not like just buying a shirt and you wear it and you're done. It continues to go after you have made that purchase, or especially if you have a subscription payment plan. And so our services are really are designed to help you manage those technology products and assess how they can work best for your nonprofit. We also know that technology can be hard to stay up to date with. And that means in our knowledge levels as well. Understanding current tech topics and how tech functionality works is a core part of what we do as well. We create courses and webinars and training for nonprofit staff around key technology products. If you are part of the TechSoup ecosystem already, you will know that the last 2 years we have been focused like a laser on AI specifically, because that is such a huge game changing piece of tech now in the marketplace. And no matter what your opinions are about it, it is extremely powerful, and nonprofits can definitely benefit from leveraging AI technology. And then finally, like most of you, we also create grant based programming around issues like digital resilience, online disinformation, cybersecurity, AI that I've just mentioned, and much, much more. And so, like you, we are also talking to funders all the time, trying to understand how we can match potential grants to where the greatest needs are within the nonprofit sector. So you might imagine, and you would be right, that the folks on this call are really busy. We do and touch a lot of different products and nonprofits and campaigns every week. And we work really hard to bring you the best that we can and make sure that nonprofits are able to benefit from the global tech revolution. So how does it work at TechSoup? Like, what do you do to actually work with us? Let's talk about first the front end here. So this webinar is designed for people and for organizations that are new to TechSoup, welcoming you into the fold. But we also know over time, lots of folks attend these webinars who actually have been TechSoup members for some time. So sorry if this is old news, but if your nonprofit wants to work with TechSoup, you need to go through a series of steps. And the first is to create an account at TechSoup, obviously, and submit your tax documentation to us. Why do you have to do this? Well, because TechSoup only serves nonprofits. And we need to know that you are indeed a valid, legitimate, legally formed nonprofit. By proving that to us, that gives you access to the TechSoup catalog and allows you to benefit from the special nonprofit only pricing that are available on these philanthropic offers that we host. Once you have developed and built your account with TechSoup and submitted that tax documentation, then you need to choose your TechSoup membership level, which we're going to talk about in 1 second. And then finally, TechSoup will go through the process of validating your nonprofit. That is saying to our own database, yes, indeed, this nonprofit is legitimate. They filed their tax documentation. They're a real organization. They have a TechSoup membership. And now you are ready to engage and work with us on a myriad of different technology topics that matter to your nonprofit. So if you're not already a member, how does my nonprofit join TechSoup? It's pretty easy. You go to the top right-hand corner of the screen, you click the join button, and you just start down that path, right? Take you through a series of screens where you can submit your information. But it's not the biggest button, it's not the greenest or reddest button, but there it is in the top right corner. So if you're not already a TechSoup member, join TechSoup, follow that path, and we can help. Now, step two is to pick your membership level, as I just said. And I want to just quickly stop here and just talk about what the three membership levels are at TechSoup. These are designed really with three different types of nonprofits in mind, but it's not nonprofits based on size. It's really where you are in your own technology journey. So our most basic membership is called DIY. You probably know do-it-yourself membership, right? There's no cost to join the DIY membership level at TechSoup. And really, it's designed for organizations who know exactly what they want from the catalog and really don't need much more help. They just want to go and get that product and then be on their merry way. And that's what a DIY membership at TechSoup lets you do. But our Boost and Quad memberships are really where I think the greatest value is for TechSoup and where the greatest value is for nonprofits, because these are where we can really engage more deeply with you and help you with your technology journey. Boost is a $99 annual membership fee for a nonprofit, right? The entire nonprofit, one membership fee, $99 a year. And Boost gives you access to the full catalog of services and products that we've already discussed, but also access to additional special discounts that come into that catalog on a temporary basis often. But there can be some really good deals in the Boost catalog that just help you stretch your technology budget a little bit further. Boost also provides access to some specialized grant funded content that TechSoup develops around technology. And then finally, it's a 50% off on all 100 and 200 level courses at TechSoup. And again, like at the core of our educational mission, that could be extremely helpful for nonprofits as well. Then finally, our highest and most engaged level of membership with TechSoup is called TechSoup Quad. Quad is a $200 a year organizational membership, right? Across the whole year, only $200. And it really gives you the full TechSoup experience. You get access to that catalog. You get access to the courses that I just mentioned. In addition to the special additional discounts that appear in Boost, those also appear in Quad. Um, but really, where the value is in Quad is that you get to engage much more deeply with TechSoup staff themselves through TechSoup support, through Quad member only events, and through exclusive content that we put out in Quad, as well as an online peer to peer community. And I think this piece is really exciting because we know there are, for instance, in the United States, hundreds and thousands even of nonprofits who are addressing food insecurity in local communities. What there hasn't been until TechSoup really started to build these is an open community where all those nonprofits working on a particular mission area can get together and specifically talk about technology. So, how, for instance, are food security nonprofits using technology? And believe me, there are a lot of different ways. It's a fascinating field. But that peer to peer community in Quad gives these organizations the ability to talk directly to each other, to share notes. And this is a big piece of like what's very different about nonprofits, right? We're not competing against each other. We're not here to make a profit. And so we're looking for other nonprofits that we might compete against for that profit margin. Instead, because nonprofits are really focused on addressing a particular issue area, we want to collaborate. We want to work together. We want to learn the lessons that you've already learned in your field of practice. So, that peer to peer community is a really great space for nonprofits to share that kind of learning, and that's available in Quad as well. So, to recap, you've got the free DIY level. You have $99 a year for Boost, which is great if you really want some additional deals. And then we've got Quad, which is really the pinnacle of TechSoup engagement and where you're going to really get the most capacity out of TechSoup and by interfacing with your peers. Okay, so you've picked one of your three membership levels here. You already signed up and joined with TechSoup. Let's talk about the TechSoup catalog because that is one of the things that we really are known best for, and I think one of the best ways that we share technology with the nonprofit sector. So the catalog you can access from the homepage of TechSoup.org. Obviously, there's a giant orange button in the middle of the page that you can click to go straight to the catalog. You can also go up to the products drop down at the top of the page, and that will get you there as well. So let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft has been one of TechSoup's longest standing partners in the nonprofit tech field. We do all sorts of work with them, both grant based and product based. And they've been huge advocates for building the tech resilience of the nonprofit community. And we're very proud to have worked with them for a long, long time. Let's look at some of the things that you can find in the Microsoft catalog on TechSoup. Oh, we've got some new CAPTCHA stuff here. Click on the thing you can close and open again. Well, that seems like that. And I don't think there's anything next. That bottle again. Okay, sorry for the delay here on CAPTCHA. This is always evolving. Here we are on the Microsoft for Nonprofits page at TechSoup.org. So, right off the bat, I want to point out that we do carry Microsoft Copilot for nonprofits in our catalog, right? This is a $306 a year annual subscription to access Microsoft Copilot. Along with that, we do have access to the Office 365 licenses through Microsoft, and TechSoup is a great partner to help you manage your Microsoft licenses. We know a lot about which kind of license you need and which kind of license you don't need. And licensing is one of the secret places where you might spend much more money than you really need to. So it's a great benefit working with TechSoup around your Microsoft licenses to make sure you really optimize your budget there. There are all sorts of other Office applications also available through TechSoup, including like donated versions of the Office, the old version of Office for Mac and Office Standard. And, we have the Windows operating system, obviously. And then if you're a pretty techie nonprofit and you are using some developer tools or the server stuff, we have access to all of that through Microsoft as well. But probably more than anything, what I'd highlight here is that for TechSoup, this Microsoft relationship is super important. And so we spend a lot of energy supporting nonprofits in their use of Microsoft products. So if you're having trouble with Microsoft, not sure how to configure something to make it work, I really want to encourage you to think about working with TechSoup to do that. We can help. So that's Microsoft. Another one that we spend a great amount of bandwidth supporting with nonprofits is Adobe. Adobe are the folks who really have been pioneers in the entire notion of digital creation and visuals online and how do you make your website look good with good graphics. If you're a designer or communications person, you already know all about Adobe Creative Cloud. You may well be a user of Adobe Creative Cloud, that we have access to that through TechSoup. There is a different product that has been pretty hot for the last few years now from Adobe called Adobe Express. It's an ideal thing for building social media posts and things like that, where you have to quickly assemble some graphics and some verbiage. It does not require as much expertise, perhaps, as Creative Cloud does. And a great option for nonprofits who are, trying to figure out a new way to do some graphics. And Adobe, again, has been a big supporter of TechSoup and of the nonprofit sector for many years now. Beyond Adobe, another extremely popular item in the TechSoup catalog is Intuit QuickBooks. Anybody who maybe was still running a paper and pencil accounting system when COVID hit understands why it's so important to actually have a cloud-based accounting system at your nonprofit. Because, when you can't all work in the same office, it makes it hard to keep track of those expenses. QuickBooks really has been the standard, I think, for some time in the sector, and lots of folks come to TechSoup and get QuickBooks. And we also have a migration service that helps you move from an older version of QuickBooks to the new version of QuickBooks Online. Now, another thing we have in the catalog that lots of folks may not know about is not just software. TechSoup is also a growing resource for the hardware needs of nonprofits as well. We can take a quick look at what we've got in the hardware offers on the TechSoup site at the moment. I'm going to just scroll through here with you so you can easily see. I mean, for sure at the top here, we've got these fun, sexy mobile devices that lots of folks are looking for, including Apple smartwatches, iPhones, Hotspot from Mobile Beacon. Those are all available. More robust, larger offers include desktops and laptops through TechSoup. We have relationships with Dell, with HP, and with Lenovo, and can provide pretty good pricing on these items. Um, One thing I do want to call out specifically is that TechSoup also has an excellent lineup of refurbished hardware. We were, in fact, one of the pioneers arguing that we shouldn't just be throwing 2 or 3 year old computers in the dump, even though, the chips may have doubled or tripled in speed since that computer was made. There are plenty of computers that are a few years old that still can function perfectly well, that have the appropriate level of processing, good levels of memory. They can be wiped, they can be checked out, and then those can be resold as refurbished units. And you can save quite a bit of money by doing refurbished instead of a standard brand new computer or laptop. And so I encourage you to look at the refurbished hardware options through TechSoup. We also have good number of networking equipment choices. Here I would call out specifically Cisco and Cisco Meraki are very popular brands that nonprofits come to TechSoup for. But again, the point of the catalog also is go in there, do some browsing. You may well find that the thing you are looking for to support your nonprofit's networking or hardware needs is right there in the TechSoup catalog already. So those are some quick highlights of brands that are available in the TechSoup catalog, but there are many, many more. And so I do want to encourage you to just spend a little time going through that catalog, taking a look at what you can find and seeing what might fit your nonprofit's needs. Now, as I mentioned, we also understand at this point that it's not enough just to acquire new technology. Indeed, sometimes that's just the beginning of the journey. And what you really need is a partner who's going to work with you over time to help you make sure you get the best out of that technology or troubleshoot it as necessary. And so TechSoup in that mind frame has over years now developed a set of services that we provide to nonprofits. These are not free services. They do cost, but I think they also cost quite a bit less than you might be able to find on the open market quickly with a local consultant, but not in every case. But they are affordably priced and designed specifically with nonprofits in mind. So let's talk about what some of them are. Right off the bat, probably the most popular one is called managed IT. Managed IT is a large scale contract that you enter into with one of our service providers, and they help you manage your entire technology stack. Now, for a DIY member who already knows what they want, maybe this isn't necessary. But if you're a nonprofit that's really struggling with capacity, you don't have a dedicated IT manager, or even better yet, there's an officer in many technology companies, a CTO, a chief technology officer, right? Lots of companies have them now. Nonprofits can't necessarily afford a CTO themselves because they have a lot of other things they got to do. But working with a managed IT provider can be a great way to close that gap and make sure that you've got somebody or an organization paying attention to how to manage the tech stack that you're relying on for your day-to-day operations, for delivering your programs, for executing on your mission, for managing your staff, whatever those things are. So, managed IT, big contract that takes care of all your tech, be worth looking at. We have the inverse of that also, something called help desk, where this is very specific. You've got one tech thing that gives you problems, sort of what Aretha was asking about at the start of the meeting. Um, and a help desk contract is where you contract with one of our service providers for a specific thing. Maybe it is that printer that just seems to inevitably malfunction. Maybe there's a router that you have some deeper issues with, but it's one thing, and that help desk contract manages that one thing. I've already mentioned Microsoft, but let's talk about Microsoft 365 specifically because we provide support services for Microsoft 365 users who get their licenses through TechSoup. We support you in that process, as I said, helping choose licenses and helping you configure and manage those licenses. So if you're thinking of adopting Microsoft 365, I really encourage you to do it through TechSoup. We can really be very helpful there. Um, of course, for every nonprofit out there, your website is a critical communications tool, perhaps the most important one, because people can go to it for free and just read what you have to say about your nonprofit, your mission, maybe what the latest fundraiser is you're holding, or celebrating the success of a recent program you concluded. Um, Along with that, you also are working in digital marketing, right? Doing outreach to potential consumers of your nonprofit service. Maybe you're doing outreach that is just fundraising outreach itself or something entirely different. And what we've really found is lots of nonprofits in the last couple of years tend to want to engage with us around websites, digital marketing, and AI all together because they seem to dovetail together in that communications capacity. Like all three of them, there's lots of AI products now that kind of like plug into your website, chatbots, et cetera, like that. And so we do have a dedicated partnership where we are helping nonprofits with those three things together. It's not that you have to do all three things, but they seem to really cluster together when nonprofits are asking about one, they're often asking about all three. We have a QuickBooks migration service that I mentioned earlier, which is if you want to upgrade to QuickBooks Online from an older version of QuickBooks. That doesn't bring your data in from other platforms. It's just migrating and moving from an old version of QuickBooks to a new version of QuickBooks. Um, but that can be very helpful as well if you're trying to upgrade that. Aretha mentioned at the top that we will share a copy of this live deck with you at the end of the webinar. And the links in this deck will work. You can click through and look at things based on this deck. And that includes the live site link here that I have up that I'm not going to click on right now, but invite you to do so when you get a copy of this deck so you can take a look at the other services that are available. Now, That's a good overview of where we are in terms of the product and service and hardware offers that we provide to TechSoup members. Um, but one of the things that's really true about TechSoup is a lot of the magic here is also the human beings behind the screens, right? There are people in this organization who are dedicated to supporting the nonprofit sector. And we have an entire department called customer success, which is really devoted to helping you make sure you get the most out of these TechSoup opportunities. And so now I'm going to bring forward Gerard Morris, who's the head of our customer success, senior director of that department. Gerard's going to talk a little bit about how the customer success team supports nonprofits, how you can benefit, and how to engage with us.
Hi, folks. Good morning slash afternoon. And as Nick said, I am the senior director of customer success here at TechSoup. Um, Essentially, it's member success is what the way in which we want to think about it, right? So all of you as members, this is us supporting your success, and we'll probably even update this to say member success so that you can see the correlation. You can go to the next slide, but while we're transitioning, I would just say that everything that you've heard from Nick so far is absolutely in alignment with becoming connected to our team. So everything from, oh, what services do you all have available that I can connect with, or do I need specific services, or if I am choosing a membership level, what does that actually look like, right? And so um, our team, is wide in terms of all the products that we have available. So whereas you may reach out to our support team as it relates to, I'm trying to get my licenses activated. For example, when I look here, Kristen had a question about, hey, I'm trying to get my Outlook and Apple calendars to update each other. And you've probably done some research, not to pick on you, Kristen, but you've probably done some research on the internet. At some point you may want to be able to talk to someone, and it doesn't have to be like overly specific. And so that's where my team actually comes in. And so you can get valuable insights on what's happening, everything from tried and true products such as Microsoft to AI, for example. So and there's so many different facets to get into as it relates to that. I imagine many of you are working to raise funds and generate more stable funding for your organization. And so there's so many ways in which our team can help to plug in here. And I would say, and I put a note here in the chat, I'm willing to offer folks who are here a free trial of our quad membership. And I know you heard Nick say that it's $200 a year, and it is, but we are piloting a program where you can join as an individual. The only thing you would get all the things that are available in quad, um, except for the catalog piece. You'd have to register as far as your organization. But I'd like to offer everyone a free trial, and then at the end of that, instead of you having to pay $200 if you join at an individual level, we're looking at offering it for $9 a month, and then it's more of a month-to-month thing. And so, if any of you are interested in that, maybe you give it a go for 30 days. You get in there, you can see what's happening. Um, and see if it's of interest to you and then go from there. But that's where you'll be able to connect with our team as well as a plethora of volunteers in various domains, including everything from coding to AI to cybersecurity to marketing, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go to the next slide here. All right. So you heard me kind of highlight this a little bit here, um, but there is a distinction, right? So, right, if you had to interact with TechSoup at a service level or get help with something in the past 12 to 18 months, you probably had to get into the chat queue and go from there. And we're working on that and working to optimize the efficiencies in that arena. But that's where that team would serve you. So whether it's eligibility or licenses and things of that nature, that's where that team serves you. For example, I see Joanne here had a question about organizing our drive, moving from Google to 365. That is a classic example of where my team specifically can support you. And when I say my team, I've got a team of 10 folks that do a variety of different things to help support and research and engage with you all. This is something that we are absolutely committed to. And so if you all have random questions about technology that you haven't been able to find through forums online or anything like that, my team is where you can actually get that help. And the best avenue to be able to do that is to give Quad a shot. And then of course, services and solutions which Nick mentioned as well. So IT support, download and installation, data migration. So there's a fine line between what my team can do and where you may need to engage more heavier service support. But we're a great triage point to help guide you in the right direction to help you say, hey, you can do it that way, but you could save money by maybe doing it this way, right? And so there's a lot of things in which you could learn just by taking that first step. And so we absolutely encourage you to do that, and you have additional resources. So I know that sometimes if you're going through the chat queue, it may seem like you want to talk to someone. Well, this is a way in which you can talk to someone, especially if the issue is broader than just eligibility or licenses and things like that. I think that was there another slide in this segment, Nick? Okay. So that is kind of my overview. Again, it's really about member success, and appreciate you all for your time today.
Great. Thanks, Gerard. Good to see you again today. And next, I want to call forward Amari Magaha. So Amari is with our client services team. And to differentiate here a little bit, sometimes you need a little help managing your relationship with TechSoup itself, right? Maybe your logon's not working, or a fulfillment email you're waiting for has not come through, or there's something about the exchange here with TechSoup itself that you need a little extra help with. That's what the client services team does. And so Amari is here to share with us more about how to engage with our client services team and what that can look like.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Nick. And yes, I'm going to walk you through the user experience on the TechSoup side. What it actually looks like to be a member of ours. So what you're seeing here is what we like to call a product page. And this to me is the most fun part because this is how you get all of those wonderful discounts. So I'll take you from the top all the way to the bottom and explain it very briefly. Right at the top, you'll get to see a circle with a face silhouette, which is how you access your account, all the details, your name, budget, etc. In the middle is a magnifying glass. That is the search. Any product that comes to mind that you want to see that if TechSoup has a discount for, you can use that magnifying glass to search it up. If anything comes up, we likely have a source for it. If not, we probably don't. And then next to the search function is the cart, and that is what you'll click when you are ready to check out and apply payment. So towards the middle of the screen, you'll get to see the product page, obviously the name, donor partner. Something that I like to point out is if you're wondering if something works for a Mac or a Windows product, that is listed there. If a product is out of stock, that will also be listed there. And then it'll also list the admin fee, which is the cost of the product. Now, not all of our products only include the admin fee. Some products require an admin fee and also a fee to the provider. So that is something that is never hidden. It'll always be listed on the product page, and it'll tell you, for the most part, exactly how much is paid to TechSoup and how much is paid to the provider, which I'll take you down to that last section. It'll be listed either in the description or right next to the description, the subscription details page. If you want to know how much a product costs, it will always be listed under description and or subscription details. So you'll never have to worry if there's going to be extra fees outside of TechSoup. We'll always have that very, very transparently on this product page. So I think that's everything there. Oh, and this is what I was referring to. So another thing to pay attention to when you're reading through the product page is if you have a subscription, after 1 year is up, do I get the discount again? That'll be addressed here in the subscription details tab. If you're wondering how much it's going to cost for the next year, or you're wondering how you can resubscribe or renew your subscription, That'll also be listed here in the subscription details tab. Another thing to consider is there are a lot of products that you may currently be using. Sometimes in that case, you may not be able to benefit from the TechSoup discount if you are an existing user. If you are unsure if you are under that umbrella, that'll also be listed in the subscription details tab. So that's always something to consider, but for the most part, we will be able to work with you to get you the discounts that you need. So not to worry too much on that. And the next slide, please. So we have a very, very thorough support section. These are communicated in a form of articles, and most of the time they are step-by-step sequences that'll help you accomplish the tasks that you're needing support with. So you can, on our website, the support page is right in the corner. I could probably reference that in a next slide. And you can either search your issue on this page or you can scroll through the promoted articles and see if your question was already addressed either by us or another member of TechSoup. So we worked really, really hard to address almost all of your questions here to kind of provide a good foundation for self-service if needed. But if not, we're also here to help, and I can show you how to access help on the next slide. So there is one main way to contact customer service. That is going to be via chat. We unfortunately do not have a phone line any longer, so via chat is going to be your way to contact another human to help you with anything you may need. Even if it is, how do I get in contact with customer success? I think I'm going to need something outside of the scope that customer service can provide. We can also assist you and kind of lead you in the right direction. And then the next slide, I'll show you how to get to our chat. So on any page on the TechSoup website, you will see the circle on the bottom right-hand side. It'll take you to our help button. Once you click the help button, you'll have a prompt. You will have to fill out your personal information. And I will say it helps my team a lot if you fill out that information as thoroughly as possible because it will be able to help you a lot faster. So you'll see the prompt, you'll enter in your information, and most of the time you'll have a wait. And that's okay. We're going to get to you. But if you have a little bit of a wait, just know we're just helping another nonprofit with probably a really extensive problem. Once you're up in the queue, we'll be able to assist you via chat with a human just like myself. And I would say for the most part, we're going to be able to easily address your problem via chat. And that is how you access our chat. So that should be pretty easy and straightforward. And I want to say that is all for me.
You're right. That is all. Thanks, Omari. Appreciate it. And with that, everyone, thank you for joining this webinar today. We have reached the end of the deck here. Sometimes we do hang out and chat a little bit longer if there's a flurry of questions. It looks pretty light today, so I think we'll probably just call it here. But I do want to say once again, thank you for your choice to work in the nonprofit sector and, to really try to help make a better world, better community, do the good work that needs to happen. I do believe that it's really helpful to have another nonprofit you can lean on for this kind of help and support for technology. You can trust us because, we are like you. We are the same type of organization and we do understand how challenging tech can be to work with, but we also do believe it can be incredibly powerful to help you as you manage staff, deliver programming, execute on your mission, communicate to the public. All these things are just such important functions in the modern world. So if you're not already a TechSoup member, please do go to that top right-hand corner that I showed at the start. Click on that little join button. Become a TechSoup member. Let us know that you need help. Take a look at the site. Click through on that product catalog. Take a look at the services that we have in the drop down. And again, to reiterate, as Gerard was saying, we are happy to extend some limited free access to Quad for folks if they want to take a look at that membership level and do some hands-on stuff there. But with that, we will call today done. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your attention and looking forward to working with you out there in cyberspace.